today. I'm going to sow some brassicas today. I'm going to sow two varieties of cauliflower. One variety is called Orkney and the other variety is called Fortaleza. I've got a chicken right down by my feet, Ripley. She keeps wandering. So if this suddenly keeps moving, it's because she's gone on the bottom shelf. The other brassica I'm going to show you how to sow today are Brussels sprouts, and they're Braemar. Now these are brassicas. There's all sorts that are under the brassica umbrella. It's cabbages, broccoli, purple sprouting, cauliflowers, spring greens, all those sorts of things. All the seeds look exactly the same. They're small round balls. Sometimes they are slightly lighter in colour and sometimes they're slightly darker in colour, but you will sow them whatever variety you've got. You will sow them all in exactly the same way. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to sow one of these, and then the other ones I'll just sow in exactly the same way. So let me show you how to sow your brassicas. Now here I've got a little seed tray. You can either sow them in a big seed tray, or if you don't have that amount of room, you can always sow them in a little 3-inch pot. All I've got here is just some normal multi-purpose compost. It's entirely up to you which one you want to purchase, whichever one is your favourite. Once you've put the compost in the tray or in your pot, you just need to pat it down nice and firmly so that it's all nice and level. If you do find you've got any large lumps that you come across that you can't break down, then just discard those. Now before we sow the seeds, we need to water the compost. Now once you've watered, you need to let the water soak through. Make sure that your container, whatever you're sowing your seeds in, actually has holes at the bottom so that the water can soak through. All you need to do now is to sow your seeds. Now I'm going to sow both the varieties of cauliflower, but I'm not going to sow all of the seeds, because in one packet there's 20 seeds and the other one there is 30. And I don't really think I fancy having 50 or near enough 50 cauliflowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sow a few. As you can see here, these are brassica seeds. These are the cauliflower seeds. I said to you that most brassica seeds were small, round and brown. They do vary in shade ever so slightly, but basically most brassicas look like this. Now I'm going to sow one variety of cauliflower in one section, and then I'm going to sow the other one in the other section. When you sprinkle these on the compost, make sure that they've got lots of space between them. If you do find that a couple of your seeds are very close together, then just move them apart. Once you've sown your seeds, then you just need to cover them just with a little bit more compost. Again, if there are any large lumps in your compost, then just remove them. Now this compost doesn't need to be thick, it needs to be about 1/2 centimetre gently scattered over the top of the seeds. Don't pat it down, just let it gently sit on top of there. If you want to use vermiculite instead, then you're very, very welcome to. But it's actually, I tend to find it's quite difficult to get hold of. So we've now covered our seeds with a little bit of compost. I'm just going to sow some in the other section, and then I will label them. Make sure that you label them correctly and you put in the variety that you are growing. So I'll need to make sure that I label these correctly, and then when they start to grow, then I know which ones are which. So I'll just sow a few cauliflower seeds in this section here, cover them up, and then I'll come back to you. So here are my 2 varieties of cauliflowers all sown. I've made sure that I've labelled them correctly. Now cauliflowers you can usually sow between January, February through to March and sometimes into April. It just depends what variety you have. So make sure that you check the back of your packet and it will tell you, or the front of your packet, wherever it has that information on when to sow them. They're usually best sown under glass, well inside first of all, so that the germination rate of these is then much higher. If you sow them out into the ground, they tend, straight out into the ground, the seeds, they tend not to germinate particularly well. So I always start mine off in the greenhouse or under cover. If you don't have a greenhouse, you can always sow them in a little 3-inch pot and grow them to start with on a little sunny windowsill. They'll be perfectly fine there. Now I won't need to water these for a couple of days most probably. It depends what the temperature is like outside and how hot it gets in the greenhouse. It's actually incredibly hot in the greenhouse at the moment. I've had the doors closed for most of the morning. It's not very hot outside. It's only about 9 degrees outside, but it is really, really warm in here, which just shows having a glass greenhouse, once that sun hits the glass, and the heat inside a greenhouse is phenomenal. So I need to get my little thermometer. I do have a thermometer and I need to find it and I need to attach it because it's always fascinating to see the difference in temperature. So I'll put these on a tray and I will cover them with a propagator lid just to give them a little bit of extra warmth during the evening. When you get to sort of March, April time and the days tend to be warmer, the best thing to do is to remove the propagator lids during the day, but then just as the sun's about to set and it starts to get cold, put the propagator lids back over your plants again, and that will help keep in the heat during the night time. Well, I hope you found that useful. As I say, I will sow my Brussels sprouts as well, but I will sow those in a slightly different tray, but I will sow them in exactly the same way. So whatever brassicas you have, just sow them in the same way as I've shown you just now. Well, I hope you found that useful and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.